Hello, welcome to the Scale Modelling Cafe. Welcome to this week's update. This week I've got my green book, so there's a lot to talk about in the news, and hopefully I won't forget anything this time. I did forget something last time, and I'm going to mention it this week. Right, what's been going on the channel then? So last week was the sprue tour of the Kotare Spitfire. This Sunday, I'm filming this on Friday, so this Sunday is part one of the Kotare Spitfire project, and that is my normal part one where I just talk through the kit, some of the aftermarket, what scheme am I going to do it in if I've decided. Normally I haven't, and what are my kind of aims for the project. One thing that you will see is I couldn't find the resin exhausts, so I forgot either to order them or to bring them out, one of the two. But luckily, my mate Dan was coming out, and I managed to order it on Hannon's, send it to his house, then diverted it to the distribution place, and then he picked it up on the way to the airport. So that was a very, very close call. So shout out to Dan, thanks mate, absolute lifesaver. Excuse me. So as I say, part one goes out this Sunday, and then over the weekend I'm going to be editing the rest of the project and hopefully releasing that as the weeks go on. Slightly out of order this time because, well, no, actually it'll be seamless to you guys. So part two will be the cockpit, part 3 construction, part 4 painting, weathering as normal. I actually built the wings first because I wanted to maximize the drying time of the seams before sanding them. But, oh, excuse me, I've just had my lunch. So for continuity, I'll start it with the cockpit. Otherwise, it's going to jump around a bit, and it's going to be easier like that. Right. So talking of which, it's finished. Here we are. Now, I did the ME109G2. I did the wash-up debrief type video, which seems to be popular. So I think I'll probably do that with this as well. Suffice to say, Kotare have knocked it out of the park with this. It's a beautiful kit. It wasn't completely plain sailing. But I'll save that for the debrief video. But I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. The camera really doesn't do justice to the weathering and the finish. It tends to wash out a lot of the weathering effects, sort of blends it all. So it is sort of slightly more weathered than the camera will show. I'll bung some pictures up there so you can see them. And yeah, just absolutely stunning. Now there's stuff in the cockpit that, you know, great attention to detail, but you're just not going to see it, frankly. So I'll talk about all that in the debrief video. But yeah, one or two new techniques on it. So some acrylic wash, weathering, or just acrylic paints that are watered down for some of the weathering on the prop, for example. I did have a comment last week where someone said that they had these had wooden blades and therefore there wouldn't be any metal chipping. However, that's the data on the MiG is inaccurate. The initial Rotal prop and de Havilland prop, the constant speed ones, and the 3-bladed prop, the fine course, were actually metal until right at the end of 1940 into 1941. When the wooden blades came along. So it is appropriate to do metal chips on your Battle of Britain 3-bladed prop. This is the early boxing, as you can see, boxes up there. I used the 3-bladed prop. I used one of the options in the kit as inspiration for this. This is painted in 72 squadron markings, which was my last squadron when I was in the Navy, and so I thought I'd do her up as 72 Squadron from August 1940. There we are. I'm going to put it down now because I don't want to damage it, because this is going to be auctioned off. I'm going to put it on eBay on a 10-day auction. Starting, I'll probably start it in the middle of next week. I'll put out a quick shout out video for that. Maybe tie it in with the debrief video. That'd be a good idea, Jamie. Yeah, good one. Thinking on the hop there, and you can bid on it to buy it. All proceeds in aid of the Whiz Kids charity. I know I've banged on about this a lot, but we've had some very generous donations. So thank you very much to everybody who's donated. This kit was donated by a chap called Matt Nichols, and I wanted to maximise the revenue. So I will be writing a magazine article. I will be sending that to a magazine. I don't know which one yet. And then, like I say, I'm auctioning it off next week. So you're going to have a chance to buy this model. What I haven't done is I haven't glued in the main undercarriage, and I haven't glued in the prop, and I haven't glued in the aerial mast, even though I've done the aerial wire. I will tape that aerial mast to the fuselage. The main canopy is not glued in either, so I'll break the model down, which will make it less vulnerable to damage for shipping. One or two of you who are not in the UK have asked, are you going to be able to bid on it? At the moment, I'm not sure, because I don't know how much postage is going to be, for example, to America or Australia, something like that. I imagine not that cheap, because it's a big model at the end of the day. So I haven't decided yet, but like I say, I do want to maximise the revenue. So I probably will offer it internationally, but the postage might be a bit steep. But if the postage I put on the auction doesn't cover the postage, then I'm just going to view that as a bit of an extra donation to the charity. Just to let you all know, all my Brit friends here served on 72 Squadron, and so I've offered it up to them as well, because it'd be much easier just handing it over to them rather than posting it internationally, which I know some of you might be disappointed about, but I've actually offered it as at quite expensive, so we'll see. And it will probably be at the top end of the auction anyway, the price that I've offered it up to them, and they might not want to buy it anyway. There we are. So I'm just going to leave that for a few days with them to see if any of those guys want it, and then I'll bung it up on eBay probably Tuesday, Wednesday on a 10-day auction. So the auction will finish around the time I'm flying back to the UK. There we are. Right. Enough about the Spitfire. The next project then. I've got all the editing to do. I've got the article to write. So we'll see how I get on with that. If I manage to smash through that, then I might start another model before I go home. That might be the Dora Wings Norseman, of which the sprue tour goes out next week, next Wednesday. That's looks like a beautiful kit. So I may well do that. I think that might be a relatively quick, simple build, 72nd scale, not that many parts, not that involved painting and weathering job, so fairly quick. So I may well start that. I won't get it finished by the time I leave for home, but what I will do is finish that off when I get back, ready to start the Laminar Flow Designs Spitfire Mark 14 conversion. Right, on that, right, so I've got one conversion set sat at home, all cages, which is the conversion itself and the cockpit set and the conversion for the wing to make it into a E-wing. I'm waiting for Matthew to finish designing and then producing the Mark 5C kit for the Tamiya kit. I have a Tamiya Mark 9 on order, and that is going to be converted into a Mark 5C, and I'm going to do that in a Malta scheme. I want to do more 48 scale conversions. I was going to do one more. I want to do the Bubble and the Razorback. And what I decided to do is hold fire. I wished I'd just ordered 2 at the beginning. I didn't, like an idiot. So I thought, right, what I'll do is I'll wait for the Mark 5C to come out, and then I'll order the Mark 14 48th conversion as well, another one. However, I got kind of ants in my pants, and I was a bit worried that that 48 set might sell out before the Mark 5 is ready, which should be at the end of the month. It's not going to be ready for me to bring out back with me, I very much suspect. So I went and pulled the trigger and bought another 2 48 scale sets. And I think he's only got 1 left now because I've ordered that. So I'm going to have 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Razorback 14 C. I'm going to do a bubble top, either 14E, or I'll convert it into an 18. And that leaves me with 1 set left over. So I'm going to keep that in the stash. So when I get a flash of inspiration, I'll do that. What I might do is do a PR19 with it. Might do. We shall see. Plans, whatever. I don't know. But in summary, I've got 2 more Mark 14 sets on the way. I'm going to bring 2 out with me, plus a couple of Eduard Spitfire donor kits as well. And we'll see how I get on. I also want to do a Seafire 17 and 48 scale, using the Airfix kit as a donor. And I've done that already very successfully in 72nd scale. It is actually one of my favourite kits in my cabinet, and I did a video on that, on my favourite kits in the cabinet. Other stuff going forward then on the channel, as well as the sprue tour for the Dora Wings Norseman that's next week. Obviously I'm flying back, so there will be an unboxing video. The wife's already complaining about the amount of stuff that has arrived in the few short weeks that I've been home, but I've been ordering a few bits and pieces because I want to bring them back out with me. There we are. So yeah, lots of waffle on what's coming on the channel, but it's all very exciting times. Right. Excuse me. Oh, there we go. So I had homemade tomato soup with homemade sourdough bread, and the chili flakes in the soup are reacting. So apologies for that. Right, on to the news then. So the bit of news that I forgot last week was Eduard have, I think they're just keeping the kit in people's minds. It's the 72nd scale Albatross. I think it's the D3 off the top of my head. And they've released some CAD shots of that. I think that's the prettiest World War I aeroplane. And I don't normally do biplanes and whatnot. But actually, I really quite fancy that. So, yeah, I'll probably get that for the stash, and then I can drag that out when the inspiration takes me. I just really fancy doing lozenge wings with maybe a wooden fuselage. I've always fancied one of those, and I quite fancy doing that in 72nd scale. So I thought I'd mention that because I forgot it last week. Right, Trumpeter then. They've announced that probably in September, maybe going into October, maybe even November, is the 135th scale UH-1B, so the Huey. I think lots of people were expecting ICM to do one of those based on some of the box art of their Vietnam figures and diorama sets. And then that disappeared from the box art, from the figure sets and diorama sets. And people got wondering. So maybe they had no intention of ever doing one, and the buzz went round and they just didn't want to confuse people. Or maybe they were going to do one and then they heard Trumpeter was going to, you know, beat them to the pass, so they stopped development on it. Who knows? But anyway, Trumpeter are doing one of those. That looks quite nice. That would be great in a diorama setting, wouldn't it? And the super detailers could go to town on that. Also, they've announced this. So the AH-64A that they previously announced in 35th scale is out. I'm just keep referring to my notes here. October to December. So before Christmas, hopefully. That one should be out. I know that's quite popular because all the other Apaches are all later versions. So if people want an A, there's that one, and that's looking quite nice. And also the A6E tram in 72nd scale. And I know, oh goodness me, I know quite a few people have been excited for that version. They didn't get the A, they've been or whatever, so they're waiting for that. Fine Molds have announced a new tool, 72nd scale F4B and F4N Phantom, and the box art looks utterly amazing. Now, there's one major issue really with the Fine Molds F4s, and that is they are over-engineered. They've done that real cliche of the separate spine insert on the top, which is really irritating. And I know good friend Drew, friend of the channel, Drew ended up putting his back in the box because he just got fed up with the breakdown in the engineering and the faffing. And I really quite like the B and the N actually as versions. But I do have the Hasegawa one with all the bits and bobs to go with it. So I'm probably not going to get these, even though I am quite tempted to do like a side-by-side build, which I think would be quite interesting. But there we go. I thought I'd mention that because and if nothing else, the box art is just simply beautiful. Tamiya, always really cool when Tamiya announce a new toolkit. This is the F-35C in 48 scale. People were worried that they weren't going to do it because, you know, you look at the F-16, there's been rumours for ever since the F-16 came out that they were going to be doing a two-seater, but that never happened. And they have a habit of bringing out kits, and it's really obvious to do other versions and the breakdowns there, and it never, ever, ever happens. So people were wondering, are they ever going to do the C? And yes, they have. Now, personally, I think the F-35 is such a boring modelling subject. I mean, utterly, utterly dull. I know that the Tamiya kit is absolutely beautiful. It's engineered exquisitely. And, you know, a beautifully stunning result you'll get at the end. But my goodness me, it's a dull modelling subject. And I want nothing to do with it. And yeah, Dave Fleming said in the comments on Facebook, but you know, you can do lots of weathering on it, and yeah, I guess that's true, but it's an all over dark grey jet. Oh, just dull. Anyway, I'm sure that'll be very popular. What also will be very, very popular is Deco out of Belgium. So another shout out for Belgium. Deco are releasing a Magister in 1/32 scale. And that looks absolutely stunningly beautiful. I mean, it's not cheap. I think it's about 140 euros or something like that. But, you know, it's a one-man band and fair play. But that looks really good. Such a funky-looking aeroplane. Tiny aeroplane. And you can say that, but by the nose, it's got these two sort of lifting hooks that you can literally pick it up and turn it round and put it back down again and push it and pull it, and you know, it's it's almost like a 1-to-1 scale model aeroplane, isn't it? Really, it's a tiny thing, but the detail that's going into it, engine detail, the like fully detailed nose wheel bay, separate covers, obviously fully detailed cockpit. It looks an absolutely fabulous product. Lots of decal marking options. The no doubt the aftermarket are going to go mad for it as well for decals. So yeah, that looks like a fantastic package. So well done to I can't remember the guy's name now. Someone will tell me in the comments. But yeah, well done them. Right, so there is Armah Hobby. So Armah Hobby are attending, I've written this down, the Plastic and Steel model show, which is in Belgium this weekend. And they've said they are announcing a new 1/48 scale kit. Now, what could that be? Could that be just another boxing of the P-39? Possibly. Could it be a different variant of the Hurricane? I think it's pretty obvious that a 2D is coming along in the pipeline probably sooner rather than later. So could it be that? Possibly. Could it be a Mark 1 Hurricane? I really hope it is a Mark 1 Hurricane. It's obvious that they're going to be doing the Mark 1 Hurricane. I mean, really, it's just a new fuselage. And they need to do the A-wing. But, you know, there is the 1B as well. I'm not sure if they did the 1C, probably prototype or something. But definitely 1B, so they could use the B-wing with the Mark 1 fuselage as the initial release and then come out with the A-wing later. But that would be extremely welcome. Or is it something like a Key 84 that they've done in 72nd scale already and they're going to scale up exactly like they did with the P-39? I wouldn't have thought it'd be a Wildcat because Eduard's is lovely. Academy have just released theirs. That looks lovely as well. Tamiya have obviously modified their older tooling. So there's a plethora of really good Wildcat kits out there at the moment. So I very much doubt it would be that one. So is it the Key 84? Who knows? Or is it something completely new? I mean, it could be anything, really. Whatever it is, it'll be very, very welcome. Now, at home, I have my P-39 review sample ready. That's going to come back out with me as well. Yeah, but we shall see. I think Armah Hobby are one of my favourite manufacturers, if not the favourite manufacturer. And we shall see. I've got the 2B, I've got the 2C in the stash as well, and I really want to do those. So yeah, busy. There we are. So I thought I'd mention that. Yeah, talking of future releases as well, E-Day is coming up, Eduard's E-Day, and they are going to be doing a presentation of which they're going to announce their releases for the rest of this year and Q1 next year. Whether there's going to be any surprises in there, I don't know. We know the P40 is very mature. They're going to do the P40E first. Definitely going to get that. We know also they're doing the A6M5, I think starting with the C. And we know that is coming very soon. But whether they're going to announce any surprises, we know they've got the Stuka in the works. So we're going to get any detail on that, when that might be ready. Obviously, that is less mature. And are we going to get any surprises in there? Who knows? It's very exciting time. So with Armah Hobby and Eduard about to tell us something, who knows what it could be? Excuse me. Wind that time. Right. And the last thing I'm going to say, new kit-wise, is I can't say anything because it's under embargo. I'm just going to do a separate video on it. I'm not going to tell you the manufacturer or the scale or even the timing. But look out early next week for a video on something new. That's all I can say. And I'll leave it there. Interesting. All right, that was what am I looking at? Right, looking at the camera now. That's 25 minutes. But as I said, an awful lot to talk about this week, with a lot of news, a lot going on the channel, a lot going on with this thing here. Very excited to get that finished. Loved it from start to finish, and yeah, we will go forward from there. And looking forward to starting the next project. Be the Dora Wings Norseman or the um, Laminar Flow Design Spitfire. We'll see how the editing goes. So I'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Keep your eye out on the channel. Lots coming. And I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.